Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, Magnetic Reversal News, and Shinrin-yoku, bringing you a grand solar minimum update Saturday, October 10th, 1 minute before midnight. And the models are getting deeper and more frightful. As we can see here, a huge swath of up to 20 inches of snow across the nation's heartland, where the corn and the crops are sitting: Iowa, Nebraska, Kansas. But the big story, exceptional drought grows 533% in a single week in Colorado. That you're looking at an image of water levels near Lake City Bridge on the Blue Mesa Reservoir, basically empty, 50, 60 feet low. Data from October 6 shows 16.72% of Colorado is now experiencing exceptional drought, compared to just 2.6% of the state on the 29th. Huge increase, but guess what? The moisture is coming, and we're not bumming. Keep calm. It's boom time. 4 states brace for possible tornadoes after Hurricane Delta struck Louisiana Friday evening, wiping out power to 700,000 homes across Texas, Louisiana, and Mississippi, as Governor Bell Edwards warns residents to stay vigilant. Now, Delta made landfall at winds of 100 miles per hour near Creole Friday evening. It then headed inland to Lake Charles, striking the same area reeling after Hurricane Laura 6 weeks ago. Almost 11 million people found themselves caught up in Delta's pathway as it hit the Louisiana coastline. It downed power lines, flooded roads, and sent thousands of residents fleeing to emergency shelters. The governor, Bell Edwards, warned residents to stay vigilant over the weekend. It's not over, Johnny. More than 2,500 National Guard troops were drafted into hard-hit areas. National Weather Service said the storm will continue to impact the Gulf Coast as it advances northwards. Now, additional rain through Monday, not looking good. Straight up the Appalachian Belt here from Atlanta to Washington, D.C. Heaviest rain happening just west of Charlotte here. Hello. So those are your warnings. Governor Edwards surveys the areas impacted by Delta, and they don't look good, by the way. Now, the governor, along with cabinet members, joined up with local officials and lawmakers to survey the damage, and the dangers are not over. More than 500,000 residents without power is the biggest problem. And if we come over to Power Outage US, we can see the current numbers: 399,416 without power in Louisiana. That's a large percentage of the state. 23,000 without powers in Mississippi. Georgia, 10,000 out. And Texas, the nexus of the schmexus, 73,808. And here's the current position of Delta. Sustained winds only at 30, thankfully, northern Mississippi. And it's going to be moving north and east like a beast. Here are the snowfall totals that we showed you earlier at the kickoff of the show. But they're going to be coming in waves. The first wave comes Sunday through Monday here. And then Thursday, a second system will dump into the U.S. here. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and there's your fun day. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Did you see that snow right there? Monday on the East Coast of the most. I hope that happens. And then it just gets more and more insane. Up to 5 feet of snow in this part of southern Canada, potentially at the end of October. But if any of these numbers are true, we are literally looking at an onset of winter fury early in fall. This is only the 3rd week of October, and it could be a winter to remember. It's my prediction that winter 2020-2021 will be record-breaking for dozens of areas. Some areas will be warm and snow-free, but other areas will be breaking all-time records like never been seen before. And they'll blame it on climate change, and we know the truth. Continued flooding threats with Delta, damaging winds possible in the northeast. Delta will continue to bring heavy rainfall. Boom! There I am. I knew it was possible. We do have the telemetry. There I am. Hello. Fancy hat. Can we get this over here more? What's going on? A few tornadoes remain possible as Delta exits the picture. Further west, an active pattern will bring heavy precipitation to the Pacific Northwest and the northern Rockies, which will bring snow to the higher elevations. Yes, it will. An active pattern will bring heavy precipitation here with Delta as it continues to move up the east coast here in Appalachia. And there are flood warnings and watches here from the maroon up through the green. Heavy winds in the pink, and we have some frost and freeze warnings here in the purple. So take heed, cover your crops, or harvest them now. Seismic update. No quakes of note, moderate activity worldwide. Getting a little jiggy. Worldwide volcano news update. We had a big puff from Sabancaya earlier today. 30,000 feet, just over 6 kilometers. Let me find that data set for you now. Oh, it's down. Is it down here? Is it down here? There it is. Puff emissions to 24. Another puff to 24. Some information on Kilauea. And then boom! Intermittent strong emissions to 30,000 feet. This is today, Saturday, October 10th at around 15:30 UTC. So that's about 12, 14 hours ago. We had a 30,000 foot emission from Sabancaya. Now let's talk about exaggerating the truth at Kilauea's volcano. And I've been sickened by it over the last 3 days. To capture the public's attention. Where have we heard this before? Some news articles occasionally over-exaggerate on the scientific truth, elaborating on evidence and observation. Ice Age Farmer, much? It is the Hamalamamamua crater within Kilauea's volcano really turning into a deadly crater lake. I even saw one account where it was like a lava lake or some boiling inferno lake or some nonsense. This is just the groundwater penetrating into the old cavity here, the groundwater on the island. Now, the problem with this is if volcanic material does come through it, it will evaporate this and create a phreatomagmatic eruption with lots of steam, which is quite impressive and dangerous to areas surrounding the volcano. So they're not lying on that sense. But what they're saying is that this is some kind of a boiling cauldron of death hell at the bottom here, which it's not. It's just groundwater filling in the hole that was revealed from the last eruption. So make sure you get your data from the right source. And that would definitely not be the mainstream media. Now, the dangerous 140 million year decline in CO2 is pictured here in front of you. While the mainstream media claims that if we just go up a little bit of CO2, we're all going to burn up and die, including to Al Gore, and we'll get to him. Because his Beyond Meat venture and other things are doing quite well, compared to all the sheeple on the planet that don't understand that this data set here to the left should tell them everything. For the last 140 million years, CO2 has been dropping off a cliff from 4,000 parts per million to down around 400 where it is today. At one point, just a few decades ago, we reached a point of potential mass extinction and catastrophe on Earth because the CO2 threshold was going to be broken. And this is the threshold for life and vegetation, which we're sitting right near. Yet the Green New Deal, the mainstream media, the Democrats are all telling you you're going to burn up. This has been going on for 3 decades. And Al Gore now says that if Trump gets elected, we have 2 years left and we're all dead. Well, I think if Biden gets elected and we eliminate greenhouse gases, we have less time and we'll all be dead because we're going to fall below the red line. Please pick your battles. Climate change is not one of them. Our biggest battle on the channel is the algorithm, and we're buried in it, like many others. And it's because there are certain people that are controlling the narrative that we've been trying to point out for years to all your ears. North America is immune to global warming because Humans don't cause it. The sun does. And natural climate variability is being exposed to the public as we speak. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just a few years ago, they said that snow would be a thing of the past. Yet we see record blizzards happening in mid-October in North America, where snow would be a thing of the past. Does this map, months before winter, 8 weeks, this is the forecast 2 months before winter, does this look like a climate that is snow-free to you? No. I think that those who have reported on that should be held accountable and fired, but they're still employed at these liberal shill mainstream establishments. By anyone's guess, there's no reason for that. If you spent your life as a reporter or a journalist and the only thing that you told were lies, frauds, and shams based on some dogma that everyone else has been spewing, how could you keep your job? Wouldn't there be actual citizens in the mainstream calling you out on your BS? Well, I know I'm one of them. But why isn't the rest of the public doing that? Time after time, we've been duped. And they're telling you that if this little blue line here gets up, let's just say to 500. Could you imagine if you suggested to AOC that CO2 reached 500 next year? What would her answer be? She would say, oh, we're all going to die. But we didn't in the past. In fact, life was flourishing in the Permian back here beyond belief. It was like one big rainforest all across the earth. Now, I'm not trying to be facetious, but I don't know what other stance climate alarmists can take at this point. Everyday data points, even those from the warmongers at NOAA, reveals that North America is cooling, and it has been for 3 years, just like we reported on. And now Al Gore warns if Trump wins, Earth has 2 years left. That's it. And how do these frauds get away with this? I mean, that's ridiculous. I'm asking you. I don't have an answer. But I do have some more facts. Missing in Mexico. And the reason that about 3 years ago, after we started the channel, I started warning about going to Mexico is because I've been there many times. And I never found it to be a problem until the last decade when I was reading about some of the things going on, and it's gotten extremely bad. And what we've heard in the media is just a tippy touch of the reality. And the reality is, well, we're going to get to it, and it's pretty tragic. Humberto Daniel Ramirez Hernandez was last seen on the Tijuana street corner where he was smoking a cigarette in front of a small convenience store near his hometown 2 years ago. In just a snap or a flash, he went missing. His disappearance is just one of a much larger problem. According to the most recently released government figures from Mexico, more than 73,200 Mexicans are currently missing at this time. Now that is the size of a large city in America. All missing. And what they're finding is completely horrific. They're finding areas where tens of thousands of people are being buried, murdered, and lit on fire throughout Mexico. An entire bus of liberal activists going to fight global warming or some dumb shit were intercepted and executed and buried. This is what's happening in Mexico. No place to take a cruise. No place to go on shore for a cheap bungalow in the hotel or whatever. No place to go whatsoever. The times we're moving into are times where you have to secure your family, secure your structure, secure your infrastructure, secure your preparedness, and secure yourself in a safe rural area away from really sketchy people that are going to steal you away. And I can imagine all the people taking cheap flights to Mexico that are being abducted right now are like, oh my God, why didn't I believe it? I can't believe my mouth is now taped with duct tape and they're eating my feet and they're boiling it in soup. I had no idea. Now, the 8 best face masks for hiking just came out. And I think that Backpacker, the magazine, is over. It's over, Johnny. You're done. There's like many other liberal fake news rags that are telling people to hike with face masks on. Backpacker, you should be embarrassed by yourself and others. All you're doing is puppeting protocols by the liberal media. You didn't do your own homework. You didn't research any papers. And if you did, you saw all the new evidence that was provided by the CDC and the NIH, which is total garbage. Because before COVID-19, the entire repertoire of peer-reviewed papers on face masks was that they do not prevent viral infection spread. They do not prevent it. Zero evidence that there is no protection using any of these dumb face masks. And what we're mandated with in the U.S. is to put any piece of fake paper or some crap over your face, and then you're compliant. It's about compliance. It's not about safety. They want you to be a slave and continue the slave model, so they just need more control. They just need to ring you in. But the 8 best face masks to wear for hiking are none of them. If you wear a face mask hiking, you're a fucking COVIDiot, period. Here are the daily deaths in Sweden that didn't lock down anyone, that didn't close any businesses, that didn't do any of the dumb shit that the rest of the world did. And here we are at the data set. Right here on August 5th, they reached herd immunity. And guess what's happened since then? Nothing! Geologists solve long-standing puzzle that could pinpoint valuable rare earth elements. Well, thank God, now they can rape the earth faster and quicker, destroy hundreds of millions of lives downstream by polluting them in third world countries that we don't care about, so we can build wind turbines to save America as we bury them by the tens of thousands in the farmlands of Wyoming and Virginia. Well, anyway, if you don't know where I'm coming from, you got a long way to go. This is not a sustainable solution to anything, but the left wing, the Democrats, and you elect Joe Biden, we're going to have bigger pits like this, polluting and killing hundreds of millions of people all across the world. Yes, all that so we can get sustainable energy, which is 100 times more destructive and toxic than oil and gas. That's the future you bought into. So kudos to you, Karens, with a big thumbs up from Diamond. Now, electric and magnetic field treatments actually lower mouse's blood sugar. Not toxic, carcinogenic pills. Did you know that 100 million people across America are taking a diabetes drug that they knew was cancerous, and they are now telling you about it decades later? Yeah, so all your friends and family that died of cancer, that's on them. But now that they've revealed it to you and that they're covered by preemptive laws that they passed before they even invented the drug, you can't even sue them. So after they fed you diet soda and McDonald's and other crap that made you fat and diabetic, and then you died of cancer, which has nothing to do with diabetes, and now you find out that the diabetes drug you've been popping in your mouth like candy every day for 15 years is carcinogenic, who's the idiot? It's you. So if you're not able to research the vaccines that you get injected into you and your children that contain thimerosal and other toxic elements that should not be injected into your body ever, but they're like, oh no, it's just a preservative so that the vaccine is viable. Well, I don't give a about that. I mean, and neither do they. They don't care about you. They care about the money. If you take this, then you get that, and then they come back, and then we get this, and then I pay you, and then you get that, and then we all win. As America gets fat and dies stupid. It's such a genius plan. How are you feeling about it? Planet Mars is at its biggest and brightest. And we just had the brightest day. The other day I called that out, but the actual opposition is Tuesday, which will be your lose day, because after that, Mars will get dimmer and dimmer until the magnetic reversal and the end of the world. Well, except for a few 100,000 of us. So Mars is at its brightest and biggest right now as the red planet lines up with Earth on Tuesday, 23:20 GMT. Now just go out. Well, actually, south is there, but it's actually over there. It's opposite. Wherever south is, go out there now and look that way and look up. That red dot, yes, that's Mars. The Scarface captain of the universe. Well, our solar system. So go out and look up. Hope you got something out of the video. I'm a little pumped up. And I'm a little, well, salty. Not a lot of people are picking up what we're putting down. They're continuing to regurgitate the manifestation of retardation, which is our society. You can opt out. You can walk away. Many people are like, you need a lot of money to walk away, man. You must be rich. Well, after I got out of jail, after being a complete alcoholic loser on Skid Row, hiding in the woods from police after they busted me for growing marijuana and so on and so forth, for over a decade on the run, my bank account read zero when I was released from jail. Trust me. And just 10 years later, here I am. So, proper prior planning prevents piss poor performance when you want to piss and wine. Even if you don't have a single penny and you're sober and you want to do something and you claim you can't, that's because you are the problem. There are hundreds of ways to get out of Dodge. There are ways to become a wolfer, a member of the worldwide organization of organic farmers. All over the world, you can travel anywhere in the world on your dime and then live for free anywhere in the world for the rest of your life, going from farm to farm to farm. But no one wants to do that. You see, humanity has raised a bunch of people that are lazy and they don't want to do anything. They just want to get stuff for free. But I'm going to tell you, the only reason I'm sitting here today making this podcast is for the past 11 years, I've worked 60 hours a day, 6 days a week, nonstop, with purpose and love and intention. And this is where I am because I intended to be here. I love what I do and I do what I love. I don't do anything else. Anything else is slavery or control, in my opinion. So if you don't love what you do or do what you love on a daily basis, you need to change everything now. And it might be hard. I get $50 an hour at my job where I fuck people over and I hate it. Well, quit your job, make $10 an hour at a job you love, and do art and explore and journey and be fulfilled and abundant and productive and help others. I mean, it's a no-brainer. If your whole life has been destroying other people and hating what you do, and you don't know why you can't sleep, well, hello. I'm giving you a clue here. Proper prior planning prevents piss poor performance. We love each and every one of you. Share this video with like-minded people. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Share this with like-minded people. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And be safe. Time is ticking. I can't implore you enough to go back and listen to just a few of the, 800 videos I had to erase and the 1,200 videos that are still up there. There is thousands of hours of opportunities of learning. We love you. That's why we do it. Be safe.